This is the Padua Podcast Network. When it's cold, that doesn't stop us, you know? Persistence is the difference between success and failure. Running Fever, episode 123, 5 easy ways to burn calories. Hey, welcome to the show, Michael Davis. I love my life so much that I want to make it last as long as possible. I love my life today. I really do. It's a beautiful day, Lake Fayetteville. And the word of the day is chilly. It's cold. And I don't know exactly how cold it is because on the way over here, my car sits in the garage. I don't know if you're one of those people who doesn't have a garage or your garage is full of stuff. I like to keep my cars in a garage. Howdy. Hello. On the way over here to the new stomping grounds, the near Botanical Gardens trailhead where I started today, the temperature in the car kept dropping. It started at 50 and 49, 40, when I pulled in the parking lot, it's already down to 44. So it's definitely in the 40s, and with the wind chill, definitely feels like sub 40. I don't know. I get out in the sun here, on and off. The sun feels really good and quite a bit warmer than it is in the shade. But it's cold. That doesn't stop us, you know? Persistence is the difference between success and failure. So we're persisting out here, trying to succeed at loving our lives. I'm going the wrong way. I started out going the wrong way. Well, it's a different way. You get in the habit of doing things a certain way, and I always seem to go in that direction, which, if you're a bird in the sky, is counterclockwise around the lake. If you're a fish looking up, is clockwise. I don't know any other way to really describe it. Today I'm going the other way. The other rotational direction. So it's a little different, but that's okay. Feeling like I need to have a little difference in my life today. Something a little off of the regular routine. 5 easy ways to burn calories. It's just the Biggest Loser contest at work is starting up, and I'm kind of the reigning champion, although I have retired. Retired as champion last year, and I'm not coming back. I've moved on to better things. But the same people are usually in it every year because they gain the weight back and then they have to lose it, right? So some people are just asking me, oh, how did you lose so much weight in like 90 days?
Oh, when they had the beach?
Yeah.
So I'm giving out tips here and there, and I even did a video of me to this is kind of a different program, not really the Biggest Loser related, but it's going to be a future episode coming up pretty soon, which you'll be able to see that and hear what I had to say. It won't be anything new to regular listeners because you know all the concepts that I use to live a healthier life today. But it was nice to have that, and my whole department at work got to see that, and maybe some other people. I don't know. People asking me for advice, and so I'm giving up little, pieces of advice, things that I've learned in this process. And of course, everybody wants to know how you lose weight fast. That's what I want to do, and it's all they're concerned about. And it's hard to convince people of something different, really. Maybe especially younger people. They just, when you're young, everything's so immediate. You don't understand that it's a long game, And I'm still young, so I have problems with that too. But anyway, it's all relative. Age is a relative thing. So one of the things that I like to tell people about is little changes, things that you can just integrate into your day and change the way that you do something slightly. And these little things add up over time, We are built to not have easy access to as much energy as we do right now, and to be very active. And so there are ways we can, in this modern world, still I was wondering if he was on his own or if he had company. So, little changes you can make, and those little changes add up over time. Again, the long haul is what we're talking about here. The long haul. Our entire lives, we want to be active and leading a better life for as long as possible. It's not just about living as long as I possibly can, but living, having a quality of life, having the best quality of life that I can. So here are some of the things that I came up with, and I'll share them with you now. Number one, park farther away when you go to work, to church, to a store, to your apartment, wherever you go. We're a society that's built on the automobile ever since, over 100 years. When President Eisenhower returned from Germany, he decided to build the interstate system modeled after the German Autobahn. But we drive everywhere we go, and it's made the world a little smaller. But it also means that you don't have to walk to the local store. We're driving a few miles to the nearest Walmart or whatever your local grocery store is. And all the other things we do. A lot of these big churches are out on the highway somewhere, not even close to the town where they serve. So, do that. Honestly, this is one thing I don't usually do a very good job of, because, I don't know, I just guess I'm more concerned about time. It's not really that much more time. It really isn't. Just park a little farther away and walk that distance. In a lot of ways, you can track this. This is very measurable by using a pedometer. You may have a pedometer app on your phone, or like me, as you know, I have a fitness watch around my wrist that's tied to an app on my phone. But the actual measurement comes from the watch. That accelerometer inside can measure how many steps I've taken. And so you can measure, you can say, okay, I'm shooting for this many thousand steps a day. And by making these little changes, without taking a 5.5-mile walk like I'm doing today, you can still get that number up. So park farther away. Number 2, cook your own meals. One of the things I found out from the Blue Zone Solution, which, by the way, full official book review coming in the next few episodes. One of the things I learned from that book was that you can cook your own meals and burn 300 calories that way. Now, this walk, takes me a couple hours. It's very windy today. Feeling that wind chill factor. Still got some sun, but that'll be going away. I walked this trail and I may burn only 500-600 calories doing this. I was on the elliptical this morning, and it said I was on a 500 calorie pace roughly per hour on that. So there you go. Just cooking your meal. You don't have to go to the gym and do that, for 40 minutes. 40 minutes on the elliptical versus, making a meal, which is something that I might have to do anyway. But don't do takeout or anything like that. It also allows you to choose better foods and eat better foods. Number 3, use fewer labor-saving devices. Use laborious devices. I was talking the other day about the Jetsons, who, remembers the Jetsons. And, are we going to that? Is that the future? Jetsons, it was a cartoon back in, I guess the 60s, 70s, I don't know. I was definitely there when I grew up. And it's one of those Hanna-Barbera cartoons. And George Jetson was a futuristic guy, lived on this house up in the sky, and he had a treadmill where he walked his dog, and he had a robot maid. And so, robots are all over the place now. It's a reality. They're getting smarter and more capable of doing things that previously had to be done by a human. Wind is just ridiculous right now. Hope nobody's flying those little Cessnas today over at the airport nearby, because it would be dangerous. I don't know what the wind speed is, but it's got to be up there in these gusts. Pretty good pace going, mainly because I'm so cold. I just really want to warm up by moving myself. So don't use a robot to do your work. And I'm, when speaking of the kitchen, use a spoon instead of a mixer. Wash dishes by hand. Chop stuff instead of using a food processor. Use a manual can opener. Use a push lawnmower instead of a riding one. I actually have one of those power mowers that you walk behind, which is better than, I am looking at 2 deer that are less than 10 yards away from me. So, no hunting in the park, I'm sure. So they're not afraid. Not afraid of a guy in a green hoodie. People in hoodie are evil, right? They're the hoodlums, the criminals. So hoodies should be feared, but not by deer. Yeah, so I use one of the walk behind mowers. Now, that is, which, I mean, I can push it without using the drive. It's much harder than pushing a regular push mower because you're moving the motor as well. But I don't. I use the drive most of the time. And that is better than a riding mower because at least I'm up and walking, right? So I'm walking around the yard instead of riding around the yard. So I burn more calories that way. But you probably burn even more. I'd burn even more if I had a regular push mower. But this is the one I have, so that's what I use. Number 4, if you sit at work, set an alarm of some kind, and every hour or so, get up and walk around. My fitness watch is good about every 50 minutes. It will say, it's time to get up and walk around. You've been idle for too long. You need to get up and walk around. And it will suggest torso twist. Stand up and stretch a little bit, which I'm sure is better for me than just sitting. But, somebody at work, I was talking to him about fitness, and we started chatting. I started asking him some questions. I'm like, have you gotten up from your desk since you sat down here 2 hours ago? And he said, no. I said, well, get up and walk around. That's part of how you lose weight, So that's another thing that I do. And I remember that came out in the video too, that I walk around and people see me walking around. Make a couple of laps around your building, whatever is convenient for you. But just get up and move intentionally, It's easy to get wrapped up in your work. So that's why I say set an alarm or get one of these watches that has it kind of built in. And this is where, counting your steps can help out. If you've been, if you have a job that requires you to go from building to building or whatever, and you've already got several thousand steps in, maybe you don't need to get up as often. Or if you're planning a 5-point screw 5 walk later in the day. But that can help you. I usually kind of look when I get up for my first walk or two and check and see, and I like to have about 3,000 steps mid-morning or so, and hopefully 5,000 or 6,000 by the time I leave work. Because I don't know if I'm going to, I don't do this every day, walking around, so try to get most of it during the day. And when I go to the gym, I do, have to walk into the gym and out of the gym and around the gym. So those are the days that I usually am able to get, at least 1,000 steps before I even get to work. And then, so by mid-morning, I should have over 3,000 steps. Now, there are other things you have to do at work. You have to go to the bathroom. You may have to go get some coffee or go to the break room, heat up your lunch, whatever you're doing. Take the long way. Don't just go straight there, Go the complete other way around, if you circle around somewhere and, just go do what you have to do. You don't need to make a lot of laps, but just take the longer way to get there. So, those are the big 5 I wanted to kind of introduce today. And I do think they're easy. I think they're little steps, little changes you can make to your routine that may make quite a difference in terms of hundreds of calories. And that's what you want to do. You want to stay active and keep that metabolism going for weight control, so you can eat Lots of good stuff that you need. But there are many more than these 5. And once you'll start looking and just kind of trying to find ways to get more activity in your life, you'll see how many there are. Lots of them. In an earlier episode, I talked about Walmart pickup, and I told you I decided not to do that anymore, even though it was very convenient. And I made that decision so I could be more active. By going to the store, walking around the store to buy my groceries. And I think that was a good choice. It's one of those things that I'm just used to doing. If I go with the more convenient way, I may save time, certainly save energy, but it's not the kind of energy I'm wanting to save. So, you know, I've seen a lot of people that stand up. They get a stand-up desk at work, so they can actually work standing up. It's a little thing, but that burns 10 calories more per hour than sitting. Chewing gum burns 10 calories per hour. I really like to chew gum, but I mean, these are tiny little things. But, you know, everything adds up. Everything adds up. So go shopping at your local store instead of ordering online. And maybe take some of these other tips that I think are really easy. I really do. The easy ways to increase your activity. Well, I hope you enjoyed that and find some benefit in it. And it can live a longer and more active, enjoyable life. So, if you got the fever, keep it. If you don't, get it. And then we'll talk to you next time on Running the Fever.